How we doing, everyone? And welcome back to another edition of NASCAR's DFS picks from the FSI crew. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Rule of 31. Mega, my return from vacation is here, and I'm back for some dirt racing at Knoxville Raceway. How was last week? Tell me about how the road course at Road America was, and how you fared.
I thought somebody was Zoom bombing my video. I was all prepared to go solo again. And all of a sudden, you show up.
I'm back. I'm ready.
But no, we did really good. The Xfinity one was right on Pocono. Um, it went pretty well. So
Yeah.
the only thing that kind of hurt was I didn't think Kyle Busch. I knew he was in the back. I knew he was chalk, but I just thought with the backup car and everything, I didn't have him in my cash lineup. I had Elliott, I had Bell. I was super high on Bell, and even in the video. And I did take down a FanDuel GPP and shared it with probably 70 other of my friends that played the same lineup. But overall, yeah, it was a solid 2 weekends, and now this is going to be a tough one. And we're not afraid to dig into the numbers and to try to, even though we don't have a set lineup. It's another thing where they're going to have heats tomorrow. We had a practice to go a little bit on, but we're digging and looking into and trying to get you as much information as we physically possibly can at this time. But it's something where it's not going to be set it or forget it. You've got to look and see what happens with qualifying, and if a really good driver spins out or something in the heat and ends up starting way in the back, they're going to be somebody that you're going to want to lock in. But we want to look at, we started debating a little bit before we started recording. TK, I know you're looking a lot at place differential here, and I agree on that. But I also think with 150 laps, this isn't like those road courses where we only have 30, 40, 60 laps. You're going to have to find somebody up front. If there is one person that's going to go out there and lead a lot of laps, you're going to need to have them to cash.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, the room for that debate all entirely shifts when we get through the heats and we see who's up front and we see who didn't make it through the heats without scraping the wall, like you said. I think that's going to be a big part of it because I watched practice today because I was unsure of what to expect, from this track. And I wanted to see what an actual dirt track would do with these trucks. And if anyone else watched, they saw at the 10-minute mark, and it was red flag after red flag. I think at one point we had 3 different trucks in 3 different turns hit the wall. It was
And it's a
pretty
short track, so it's not
yeah,
spread out
yeah,
the road course.
right. I mean, we're talking about separate incidences, and this, I think that all has to do with the track itself. We saw it late into the practice run get slicker. I mean, we're talking 150 laps here. I mean, that's going to be a lot of rubber laid down. They've already laid enough down as it is. I don't know if they're going to add dirt tomorrow morning before they get going. But
the race is really late tomorrow night. It's 8 p.m.
yeah,
Eastern. So, I mean, the track's going to be cool. And I mean, but that's almost about the time that they're running practice. So at least it's going to be equivalent. And the nice thing, too, is this is actually a dirt track. It isn't like dad put sand in the driveway. So.
Exactly. And Bristol was basically sawdust at the end, and it was basically a dust bowl. This was entirely different. And that's why I watched practice and saw, the rubber laid down and how that affects these trucks. And the later they got in their runs without fresh tires, it got pretty dicey. And I have a feeling we're going to see quite a few cautions tomorrow, just solo cautions, though. And I don't think necessarily that means that if a driver does spin out, he can't recover. What I do think, though, is that if they hit this wall, this wall is not like a normal NASCAR like foam, concrete. Their foam barrier before the concrete barrier. This is what looks like a horse racing fence.
Well, this track is over 100 years old. It was built in the late 1800s exactly for that, for horse racing. And then it's a half-mile track, and then they eventually decided to start racing cars on it when they were invented in the early 1900s, and it's just kind of built on since then.
Exactly. So these walls are dangerous, and if you hit the wall, that could be the end of your day easily. Like when we saw Creed hit the wall late in practice, his tire was basically sideways. I mean, he was still able, because of the dirt, to get to pit road, and that was fortunate. But you touch this wall in any of the turns, and that could end your day. It's not at all. Like, you can kind of get a little bit of bounce back and the typical
There's no
NASCAR
Darlington
wall.
stripe here.
No, it turns into your car will look like a demo, hit it, and that's what happened in Nemechek. So anyway, before I spoil all of it, let's, like you said, get into the model that we have here in the screen share. We're basically just going to give you the best overall data we possibly can for each driver before tomorrow's qualifying heats. And if you do, real quick, want to get into the Discord channel to get updated cores, this updated player projections model, you can get that access by joining us, subscribing to Fantasy Sports Insight. FSIDFS.com. You can find that Discord on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. That link is in the bio, and you can subscribe to us and get all the fun package that you possibly can for this week and maybe weeks beyond. Okay, let's get into it. We have Chandler Smith. Smith.
Let me explain what you're looking at here.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
So for the speed rating, I took Bristol Dirt because I thought that was definitely something that applies here. Richmond, the only other short track that they ran this year with trucks. Martinsville and Bristol last year. And then I took, and their starting position is, and I used it for the qualifying data number 2, is how they finished in practice today. I also took for track data, I took the Bristol Dirt and I took Eldora, where they ran in like 18 and 19, a lot of these guys. So if they didn't run in Eldora and if they have no season data, I just completely went on pretty much what their qualifying is. I looked back if they had run any dirt tracks in any of the series and kind of used that data. So again, what you're looking at here when you see the plays, Cash GPP, Prime, this is if this was the starting order. So we're just kind of pretending as a set point, as just a benchmark here. This is all going to change tomorrow, but I think some of the concepts of people's experience and how they did here in practice today. And we've seen a lot with these races where they have like qualifying after practices that, yes, there are some surprises, but if you generally look back, they usually qualify like within 3 or 4 places of where their practice speed was.
This kind of throws me back to the old ways where practice data was king, and if you weren't paying attention to practice, then you weren't paying attention to money. And I feel that sentiment, and I think some of the cars that I watched, how they were, the drivers were preparing themselves for this track. I think there's some really good drivers in this field to suit this type of track. Chandler Smith is how we're going to start this out. 7,800. He has a pretty good dominator projection from you here. What is your like on Chandler Smith in the 18?
Well, he's obviously not a dirt track driver. He struggled in Bristol. He was involved in multiple incidents. I think it might have been 4 or 5. But I like the pricing. And if he does have the speed, the truck is a top 10 truck. He can be a top 10 driver at times. So I think if he qualifies really high up here and it's indicative of the speed that we saw and being able to handle the course to be able to hit these speeds, like I said, you look at the 27 there for Bristol, the dirt track, but in Richmond, his average running position was 10. Bristol, without the dirt, his average running position was 10. So I think that, he definitely at this pricing could be a cash play.
Nice. Yeah. I like 7,800 for Chandler Smith. He was talked about it quite a bit on the broadcast today. I think there's, I don't know, like if he qualifies too high, I could see a reason to fade him. But at the same token, like if he qualifies, keeps his car clean through the heats, like there might be some potential dominator or potential finishing position to look at with Chandler Smith. Certainly a guy to keep our eyes on. Matt Crafton is next for Thor Sport, 9,100, a guy that's had a lot of experience on Eldora.
He won in 2017.
Yeah, and then he did fairly well at Bristol Dirt. I do have interest in Matt Crafton, and I hope he does not qualify too high.
Yeah, well, I don't mind it here because the baby blue drivers are ones that are above average on dirt track. So
Yeah.
if he does qualify second here, and you have a whole bunch of other people that aren't like dirt track drivers, he could get out there and lead to the first competition caution, or even if they don't have I imagine they're probably gonna have a caution before the competition caution. But if he gets out there early and can hold a lead, he could rack up the dominator points.
Yeah, it did look like
9,100 for a dominator is not bad.
no, not at all. It did look like if you did get out, I mean, this is hard to judge in practice, but you can run this track by yourself. Like you don't need anybody's help to get maneuver into that first slot and then take it away. I do think some follow the leader will be in effect tomorrow because we're going to try to figure out how to do this with 39 cars on the track. So yeah, I think whoever does get out early could be a big benefactor of a lot of early laps led. So I think that's actually a fair point to make about Crafton if he does qualify pretty high. But that just goes against my theories of place differential because I'm scared of cautions tomorrow. But gonna have to pick my spots, keep following the heats, and see who is continuously running well. Next up, we have Derek Kraus, 7,100. Any love for Derek Kraus, the youngster?
Did horrible at Bristol on dirt, but if you look at the other numbers, he's good on short tracks, 13, 15, 9. So yeah. I have him as a GPP because I think he's starting too high here. I think he's about a 15th place truck. So I have him finishing 14th. So if he qualifies 15th to 20th, I think he's definitely somebody to look at in cash. A little bit higher, he's a GPP play just because he's obviously showed speed here and some skills. Maybe somebody else took him out. I don't remember what happened at the Bristol track, but he's not my favorite plays, but he's in the conversation.
Okay, next up we have Donnie Schatz, or Schatz. I'm not really sure how he pronounces
as long
this.
As you can call him Sharts.
Sharts. Well, yeah. But he is priced up really high. This is David Gilliland's truck. He is handing it over to.
It might be a Nice truck. I've seen both, so I'm not sure. It's listed as a Ford on the NASCAR website, so my guess is it's a Gilliland one, which I think I prefer over the Nice. But anyways, dude has 300 dirt track wins.
Yeah, the story on him is just that he is a dirt track oval prowess. I do believe he's local to Knoxville in Tennessee. Yeah, so he obviously is priced up for a reason. DraftKings not falling asleep at the wheel on this one. If the car doesn't match the price tag, I'm worried. So I think that would be the only cause for concern. But we're probably talking about a guy that's won with less in his career. So 10-7's a lot to ask for a guy just stepping into the NASCAR Truck Series, even if it is on dirt, to make a difference. Usually we don't see that, but certainly a good GPP play. I think qualifying is going to tell the story on this pick. What is your thoughts?
I think he's a strong cash play, especially if he qualifies up high. Because if it's not Crafton up there or another one of these experienced dirt guys, he's one that knows the track, knows how the turns are. He just needs to figure out how to drive a truck on the track, which I think is easier than somebody who knows how to drive a truck and they're foreign to the track. I think
fair. That's fair.
So I really like him in cash. If I think he could be a dominator. He could leave 25% of the laps. He's that good.
Yeah, no, he certainly is. I think we're all going to find out what he's made of tomorrow, and that's going to be fun, interesting way to do it here at the Knoxville Raceway. Next up, we have Haley Deegan in the 1. Late in the run, when everybody was wrecking, she recorded her fastest lap. I thought that was really interesting to see. 6,800. She's had some wins on dirt in her career.
Yeah.
I think I already know your thoughts, but just letting everyone know I'm in on Haley Deegan as well.
Yeah, it didn't really help her at Bristol. I mean, she was, well, I'd say top 20 is like above average. Her average running position was 17.4, which isn't bad. Struggled a little bit at Richmond, 20, but still, my data has her finishing in the top 10, which I think that's kind of a stretch. I think there's a lot of really good dirt track racers that might get up there. So I'd say 10th to 15th. It all depends on where she qualifies, but at the price at 6'8", like
Right.
experience, and this is a really good truck too. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's like her third season, I'd be like really, really excited. Like I put cash just because I think she's going to qualify in the heats a little bit lower. Like you said, I think that a lot of guys, I think she's probably taking it easy and avoided the chaos. And that's kind of
Yeah.
her motto of operation anyways, is take it easy, avoid the chaos, continue to learn through the season. So the next time she gets there, she's really going to start applying it. And it seems like she keeps herself out of trouble, which I like a racer that can do that and, finish in a decent spot. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing to note too is Haley Deegan's probably going to get in on points. The heats are not, I think there's going to be, is there 4 people that are going to get cut here?
I don't know. That's kind of been like weird on it. Like the road race, they took like all 40, and like even in Cup, it was like where they've only been going like. So I honestly didn't study that because it seems like NASCAR makes up their own rules on the fly.
All right. I wasn't sure if they were going to cut 4 and keep it to 36 or go with the full 40. So yeah, I think she knows she's going to be racing no matter what, so she could take it easy in the heats as well. But she did have a fast truck at the end where everyone seemed to be struggling. Chase Purdy 6,400. This is not a fan of the show. I don't expect there to be much love here, but is there?
No, he's a top 20 driver at best. I mean, he's just having a disappointing season. Last year he came in and we thought like, he was gonna be like this next big star, and he's just on a sophomore slump kind of. So his form's been better recently. 17th average position at Bristol, 20th at Richmond. His numbers are similar to Deegan. He's priced $400. So I mean, I'd say they're about the same person, but with Deegan's dirt experience, I would definitely take her. So I'm not saying Purdy's a fade. To see where he starts. If he starts anywhere 15th and up, I'd definitely be fading him. Maybe a GPP if he's the last man in my line. But other than that, I think he needs to start like anywhere from 15th to 20th to be playable.
Absolutely. I will leave it at that. That's great to hear. Brett Moffitt, 8,300. This is a guy that was dominating in practice today. His driving ability looked really good here. I think I have interest in Brett Moffitt.
The problem is like on the dirt track, his average running position for Bristol is 24th. In Richmond, the other short track, was 23rd. But last year in Martinsville and Bristol, he was really good. So I think the problem is he's a really good driver. He's a really good truck driver. But his equipment this year, when he was doing the Cup stuff and not like hyper focused on Xfinity, and that's the only thing that matters in the world, I think it's the equipment that's the issue. So that's what's kind of scares me. I like seeing that he had the 7th highest total in practice. You said you watched it and that he was like kind of dialed in. Yeah. If the equipment holds up, I think he's a great play at 8,300. Even if it's in the top 5, I think that he might be one that could get out there with pit strategy and stuff. He's got nothing to lose here. So he's in this race to win it. He doesn't need to worry about stage points or anything like that, where all these other truck drivers are still trying to make the playoffs and jockey for position. He's one that can go out there and win it.
Yeah.
With the truck.
The difference in, the truck that he's driving now and the team is he was in the 44 before, I believe, before he put all the chips in his basket, and now he's just in with this random 37 number. I think it is Nice, but I have a feeling it's a little mixed. It's probably a couple of different sponsors, probably a couple of different crews mixed together for Moffitt to drop down. I see this one-off race he performs really well in, and I'm going to be pretty heavily on Brett Moffitt tomorrow. Seeing what I saw in practice, he looked dialed in. Sheldon Creed.
This is quite the sacrifice for him too, because then he has to fly to Atlanta because the Xfinity race is the next day.
Yeah, it is a short trip from Knoxville to Atlanta, but yeah, he made this commitment, and I feel like he's made it for a reason, and I think it's because he knows he has an opportunity here to make some money.
I wonder if he's carpooling with Cindric.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I don't know the story on that, so you'll have to keep me up to date on.
Sorry, Chase Briscoe. Never mind.
Okay, Briscoe. All right,
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, he's probably
Sheldon Creed.
Sheldon Creed at 9,700.
I have him as a GPP because the damage that he did. I don't know like what shape the truck's gonna be. Are they gonna go to a backup? Is he gonna be? He might end up mega chalk because if he can't get it fixed or he does bad in the heats, he's definitely gonna make it, but he's gonna be one of your place differential guys.
So I think he's gonna have. I think because I saw other teams fixing after hitting the wall. I think you're allowed to fix your truck in preparation for the heats. So like he's not automatically in the back yet because he's allowed to make repairs. If he feels like his truck is too damaged after driving through the heats, then if whatever he qualifies after the heats, he'll have to go to the back if he changes to another, if he makes repairs or moves to a backup truck.
If that makes average in dirt tracks, like I looked up his history and it was like maybe his ceiling is like a 15th place like finish. So GPP, even though he's a decent driver, even though he led, I think like 20% of the laps in the Bristol Dirt one and had a 6.5 average running position, I'm a little bit scared here.
Yeah. He did not look like he was comfortable. There was a few times where he slipped up to the high side of the track and he got into that mucky dirt that was basically turning into that sand kind of style. Like anything outside the rubber down surface was just not somewhere you needed to be. And as soon as you got slipped up into that groove, you hit that wall, you were done for. And that's exactly what happened to Creed. He did it a few times. He escaped the wall a few times, but on the one turn, he did not. And that, like I said, that tire was basically sideways. So I know they're going to be up late trying to repair that truck. I don't think it's going to do well in the heat. I expect him to qualify pretty poorly. That is all, of course, speculation. I'm not inside the garage. I'm not making repairs on the truck myself. So I don't know their ability for a team perspective, but I do know GMS has not been doing the best this year after, a championship run. Where we saw Creed win it, which seems to be disappointing. And I'm going to kind of go with, that mantra is that it's a disappointing year. I don't think it's going to be a positive outlook for him in a uncomfortable race. Next up, we have Brian Brown, another driver that was gaining a lot of traction on the broadcast today in practice. 51 car for Kyle Busch Motorsports. He looked really comfortable. He looked like he knew what he was doing. I think he's got a lot of dirt track prowess. Is there anything you can add on Brian Brown?
65, I believe, dirt track wins. So, or something like that. So he's and he's actually this is a local track for him too, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's in probably one of the best trucks besides Nemechek.
It was a fast truck, yeah.
So definitely I think he's a cash play again. We'll just have to see where he lines up. So his equipment's better than Schultz. So if a lot of people are going to be in chance, this might be the better play.
Yeah, if Donnie gets a lot of traction on ownership and everyone's just kind of forgetting the 51 truck, then I could see where my loyalty is going to lie between the two. I don't think that's the case, though. I think people are going to be pretty wise on how this 51 truck has performed, whether it's on dirt or intermediate track. It's like whoever steps in, Ty Gibbs, whoever, they've just automatically found their way to the top 5. And, he looked good. He looked comfortable. I have no problems with Brian Brown. Next up, we have Grant Infinger at 8,500. Thor Sport.
Yeah, he's not in the Roper.
He's probably
He's
got
not
some
in the Roper
experience.
truck this week.
Yeah,
So
right. That's why I mentioned it. Yeah, he's not, filling in for Roper Boy, but he is. Yeah, he's decent. He's got some Eldora experience. Infinger's been around a long time, and 8,500. It's a pretty good price tag.
yeah, look at his numbers: 6.9, 3.8, 4.8, 8.6. He's very good on short tracks. He's very good on dirt tracks. He's very fairly priced. He's in an excellent truck. Very, very solid cash play.
Yeah, I think.
I don't even care where he starts. If he starts anywhere from 1 to 40th, he's good.
Yep, definitely in the player pool tomorrow. 8,500, way too cheap. DraftKings sleeping on Infinger, especially with what we've seen from him at Eldora over the years. I know from watching those races, being an Ohio guy, that him and another driver to be named have had a lot of battles, and I'm firmly in play on Grant Infinger. Zane Smith at 8,100. This is a good driver. I don't mind Zane Smith,
but I'm not going to mention the GPP just because he's a GMS truck. I completely forgot about that. So
yeah, that was going to be my only concern was, hey, the GMS racing not been good, but if there's anyone I like from that team this week, it would probably be Zane Smith. He does pretty well. I think he did well at Bristol. Yeah, he did pretty well at Bristol that I remember. Yeah, he was okay. Jack Wood, another GMS driver, 5,600.
Here's his problem. He's like the Michael McDowell. It seems like he always qualifies too high for what he's going to bring home at the end of the day. Like he's never going to
practice was good. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. His practice is good. He looks good in qualifying, and then it all falls downhill from there.
Yeah, he loses a couple of positions. He has a marginal race. He doesn't lead anything, no fast laps. So you see he's a salary saver, but he's not like a bread and butter points winner. So
exactly. Unless he qualifies very poorly, I wouldn't have interest.
20th or I'd give him 20th or lower, I think.
Really? Okay. Next up, we have Chase Briscoe, 11K, the most expensive driver in the field for DraftKings. So this is our Roper machine today, or tomorrow. Chase Briscoe.
You have a very, very good driver.
Yeah, I
don't think really good in dirt in a piece of junk.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's gonna matter tomorrow. If dirt does anything, I feel like it levels the playing field for the car, and it does tend to the driver, a little, the driver kind of has to drive the truck a little bit better than the truck has to drive on the track. But there comes a time where the truck can just be too far gone for it to be able to be saved by a good driver. And I think that's what we see with the Roper.
Can we just check Johnny Sauter out of his truck and give him that 413?
Yeah. Right. I wish. Sauter not having a good year. Not sure where we stand on him just yet. But Chase Briscoe, 11K, seems expensive for me to be paying up for a Roper truck, but I do know
as a prime, because if he doesn't qualify well,
which I don't think he will,
but he's got a good history on dirt tracks. He average running position in the same truck at Bristol. So
I mean, this guy does really well in the Chili Bowl every year in those midget cars with Kyle Larson, and there's another one. It's Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, and another driver that. Well, he does that as well, but there's another young gunner that always goes to the Chili Bowl and races.
Austin Dillon?
I think it is Austin Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah, they go to the Chili Bowl, which is another dirt track, but it's a different kind of car. It's like that open wheel midget, car, and they always race in that. And he does really well. I mean, like you said, he's a really good dirt track driver. It's just we don't like this car. We don't see him lasting. Maybe the mechanics break down, but poor position. I think this would be a good play. I don't see him as a dominator. and 11K, I need him to dominate.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I have him as prime for now, but Hocevar right below him. I kind
Oh
of
yeah,
I kind of really like this one.
yeah,
He's a good driver, and people are probably gonna look at the Bristol data. I think he was one that got wrapped up in somebody else's
he
mistake.
was.
So like he's been having a decent season. Again, it's a Nice truck, which is mildly concerning, but a 6,600. I think he might be one of the best value plays on the board.
Yeah, I like Hocevar. He was top 10 in practice most of practice until some of those late laps kind of bumped him around a little bit, but he looked really good. He looked comfortable. Still no sponsor on this car.
Right.
Somebody please sponsor this truck. I mean, this kid's killing it.
But if you're
He's
looking for like 2 or 3 like 10K guys, then if you slot him in and Deegan or Purdy if you have to, depending on how they qualify, I think that really
yeah.
is a nice lineup.
The problem is Hocevar is probably going to qualify pretty well. And that's been the case all year. Is he qualifies inside the top 15 most of the time. I think that's going to be the case. But I don't mind it at 6,600
Before Jack
if
Woods and
he
Jack Woods.
well, yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen Hocevar
true.
qualify third, but then he'll finish like 10th. And then I see him qualify like 10th or 12th and finish 5th.
Right.
So, I mean, he at least floats in his range. Like Jack Wood just immediately ejects to the back every time. You know, you can at least count on Carson Hocevar to continue to race for you inside the top 10. You know, if he gets wrapped up in a wreck, he gets wrapped up in a wreck. But I think it's worth the shot at 6,600, even if he does qualify too high. Tyler Ankrum, 7,300.
Marginal
Yeah.
guy, horrible time at the Bristol track. 73 is a little expensive. I'm out.
Yep, perfectly said. Austin Hill at 8,700.
Always a GPP play. I mean, he can
Yeah,
get up there and do well. He actually did really well at Bristol.
I believe he led laps, did he?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta feel for a
8,700. The
guy.
price is beautiful.
Perfect. I mean, Infinger, Austin Hill, like I can see my GPP forming as we roll through
And
this field.
he's probably going to be in no man's land too, because nobody's going to be
Yep.
able to afford him. They're going to take like some of the higher guys and be in like the 6K range, like I said. So nobody's going to even sniff him. And I think, if he has a good day, then that definitely could help.
I could see balanced builds and GPPs paying off big time. Josh Berry at 6,900. I don't know what kind of truck he's driving. I didn't see much of him in practice.
He's a good driver. They didn't even let him race on dirt last time out here. Like Xfinity skipped it. So it was just Cup and truck. So he's a fade for me. I like him as a driver, but we saw this Rackley truck. Who was it that came down? Was it Ryan Priest or I forget? No, it was Alex Bowman, wasn't it, or Byron?
I think it was Byron.
Yeah,
Byron drove the
truck
Rackley
was,
War
like,
machine.
completely like wet the bed. So
Right,
yeah,
and that's one of the better drivers. Yeah, didn't see him in practice like at all creep inside the top 15. He was in no man's land, not even on the broadcast, wasn't brought up at all. I think he is a fade. Perfectly put by you. 9,300 for Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes is as a veteran, I don't mind him.
yeah. Look at his numbers. Like he had an average running position of 3.9 at Bristol.
He jumps off the page.
Yeah. Now earlier in his career, he struggled with dirt tracks. I don't even think he had any even top 15s, but it seems like recently. But again, I don't remember. Like I haven't DFS for trucks hasn't been around long enough, so I don't remember if he was even in like this Northport truck or if he was in like worse equipment back then. But anyways, now he is in really good equipment. He's having a decent season. So 93, especially if he like starts down and anywhere below like the top 10 with the place differential plus the potential to go up there and lead laps. I like it. Don't love it, but I like it.
I like all of Thorsport tomorrow. I'm not well, maybe except for Sauter, but I like Rhodes, Infinger, and Crafton tomorrow. I think that they're going to bring a lot of good element for their team. They probably qualify pretty well, but I don't mind it. Kyle Strickler,
Yeah.
Young's Motorsports 7K. I don't know much about this one. I
He
didn't see
ran
him on
Eldora
the
in 18 and
broadcast.
19 and had a 24.5 average running position and average thing.
Okay.
So if he
So
starts anywhere
yeah,
down in like the 30s, he can probably get into around 25.
fair. Okay. That's what I'll look for after qualifying. Noted on Kyle Strickler. Okay. 20th, we have John Hunter Nemechek at 9,900. Oh man, if he could regret being on the track for the last 3 minutes of
Well, he
practice, I
struggled
think
at
he
Bristol.
does.
He struggled at Bristol too.
He crushed his back end
Yeah.
at the end of practice, hitting the wall. They have a lot of work to do on that truck
I
tonight.
just don't think
I
this is
see them going to a backup. I
this
really
is
do.
his style, and I think that his ownership is going to be high because
This is such a good fade tomorrow.
exactly. And I mean, people are going to look in. It was a Kyle Busch truck that won at Bristol, so they're going to be kind of like, hey, you know what? They've got the best equipment. He's one of the best drivers. He'll just figure it out, like Kyle Larson seems to in Cup. But I don't think it happens. I think I would rather take the guys that know the track and know the surface over guys that are good truck drivers to figure it out in the limited amount of time that they have.
Yeah, I love this idea, especially because I'm a GVP player and I know how highly owned he's going to be. I could see him not paying off after what I saw in practice today. I mean, he had some good lap times, but he was still getting beat out by those same guys you were just talking about that had more experience on this track. Like he wasn't beating them in time. So obviously he's not comfortable. And at his ownership, I think it's a perfect fade because you're going to go against probably 40, 45, 50% of the line of people in these guaranteed prize pools, and you're going to be coming out with lower owned guys that maybe they don't know who they are, so they don't pick them. And I think it just sets up perfectly. This is probably the only spot I have the balls to fade John Hunter Nemechek, but I think I think it's the right call.
Yes.
5,400 for Austin Wayne Self. I don't mind that at all.
Lock
I could
of the
see,
slate.
yeah.
He has raced 4 times on dirt. I believe they're all maybe at Eldora. He's got
Yeah.
3 top 10s and all 4 in the top 20.
So this is where I learned about Austin Wayne Self, and that was from watching Eldora. He used to just do Eldora, and then he moved into a small team to get better,
Country band.
Yeah, and then but he started his country band in Ohio at Eldora, and now he's moved his way up into a different car. Like this is just the best cheap driver I think you can find outside of probably Deegan. So I like Austin Wayne.
We need to put him in like a GMS truck. He could probably get some sponsorship for them. Like he's just been. We need to get him on a better team.
Yeah, but definitely the best play under 6K, probably under 7K, is Austin Wayne.
Point per dollar got to be on the slate best play.
Yeah, you're probably right. Next up is the guy I've been waiting to talk about, and that is Stuart Friesen. 10-4. Probably your dominator tomorrow. Yep, 10-4. You're probably your dominator tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah. It all depends on, and if he starts here, that's why I put prime. He'd get place differential and some dominator points. Sign me up. So yeah, he's probably the absolute lock in cash. Just his experience. His truck's decent. It's his own team. He put a lot into it. He's not out there just to collect paycheck. He's out there to win. So
this is, I feel more about Stuart Friesen than Donnie or that Brian Brown. Because like you said, it's his own team. He's like, he and his wife are in the same race. They've had this thing circled for so long,
especially after the rain out for Bristol, and she couldn't even have a chance to qualify for it, and she probably would have.
Exactly.
She ran the 19th fastest laps in it. So
yeah, Stuart Friesen, my cash lock for the expensive guy of the slate. We have Ryan Truex, 5,300 fade. Next, right? Yes. Saving your breath. Johnny Sauter, 7,600. What are your thoughts?
Maybe.
Yeah, where is he going to qualify? I guess would be the only because he isn't too bad if he's in the 30s qualifying. But if he's qualifying anywhere near the top 20, I might be out to save my breath. Tanner Gray, 7,400. I don't mind him. Your thoughts?
The truck's okay. He might be able to get into like top 20 if he qualifies around this like GPP, but at 74, I'd rather pay for Chase Purdy, Haley Deegan, Carson
Hocevar. Yeah. I mean, if you land on him, I would play like if you have like 7. Let's just throw Parker Prince Miller in there racing for Jordan Anderson. Like if you have 7,900 and you're trying to determine if you want him, Sauter, or Gray, honestly, there's the option to pay completely down. Maybe Chandler Smith. I don't know. Like it just seems like if you land on Tanner Gray, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose a whole lot compared to, I would say, Truex or this Parker Prince Miller. Is there anything
drop down to Kyler Strickler if I had that much left and somebody that's experienced under? But anyways, each their own.
Yeah, so, I mean we're splitting hairs here without qualifying on a price point.
Well, then let's talk about the law firm.
That's go ahead.
His nickname, the law firm.
Parker Price Miller.
Yep.
Go ahead, teach me. I don't know anything about
Parker. He's a sprint car driver. I think he's just in his like 20s. He has some wins. It was a very big deal that Jordan Anderson selected him to Jordan Anderson has had everybody but you and I in that truck this year, I think. Yeah. But it is a fast truck. It is a reliable truck, and he is a skilled dirt driver. So yeah. I really no data on him. 26, but then again, might just be getting used to the truck. We'll see where he qualifies. If he dials it in and he qualifies better than this, then I think he's definitely somebody to look at sub 8K. I think he could be possible. I know he's not my complete dark horse, but I think he might be a sleeper here.
Okay. All right. I'll roll with it with you. Cody Erickson and Danny Bone. Any love for them?
Erickson has had 2 dirt track races, led none, finished all of them, 26 average running position. He's run 4 truck races overall, and he's finished all of them. So he's okay. I kind of have him as a fade just because I'm not sure I'm great with Dawson Cram Racing, but
right. Yeah, that's what
I'm not too interested in. Todd Gillian, I think he's the next one up. I think he's an experienced road course driver. The truck isn't great, but he's put together some good runs this year.
Yeah, he is a victim of tag in the wall. He didn't hit it as hard as Creed and John Hunter Nemechek, though. He kind of got his back end in the back end of a turn. And so he
finished 4th at Bristol, and he's got a dirt track background, so that could just been bad luck outlier today.
He said in a post interview that it was his fault. He messed up. He made a simple mistake. He came through a turn too fast, and he lost it, and it creeped up the track. He got into that thick stuff. I mean, that's just how easy it is. Right. Even some of the best drivers, if you misjudge a turn and you get into that thick stuff, it's going to send you straight up into the wall. And that's kind of what happened, but he didn't hit it too hard. You could see the damages that they could repair. It looked easy to repair. So I think he's not going to be a truck that I'm worried about in performance. And I know, as you told us, he's a good truck driver, especially on dirt. So maybe we'll get him to qualify poorly, and this will be our big value play in the 8K range with place differential, or not. But certainly in our lineups tomorrow. Next up, I'm going to group Jet Nolan, Jake Griffin, Tate Fogelman, and Cody Robar in this little pocket here. Any love for all of them?
Throw out Fogelman and Robar because Nolan and Griffin are actually okay. Nolan, has started 2 dirt tracks. He started in 35th position and he got into the low 20s in both of them, finished both races. So if he
Okay.
starts in the 30s and can make it up to, he could make it up to anywhere from like 29th to 26th. Griffin ran 2 Eldora races. He actually, his average finish was 15th,
Oh,
starting in the 20s.
nice.
So
Yeah, I don't mind that. 6,100. Let's see where he qualifies. Fogelman, yeah, Robar, not on my radar at all. Glad you said that. Morgan Alexander, 7,500. He crushed into the wall as well late into that practice. I noticed his price tag's really high. I don't know much
because
about him either.
he is probably one of the biggest dark horses to win this race. He is a very experienced dirt track driver. And even though it's a Nice truck, that's what concerns me. And it's the 44 that Moffitt had.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but you know, he's an accomplished dirt track driver. He's won many awards. So I could see him getting up into, he's not going to be one that's going to go out and like lead this race or anything, but stranger things have happened. But I think he can at least get into the top 25.
Okay.
So if he starts this far back, I like the place differential. A little bit high in the pricing.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm gonna want place differential if he's gonna be in this race.
But some of the
lineup.
experts think that he actually has a legitimate chance to win this game or win this race.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Gonna keep my eye on Morgan for qualifying. Devin Roush. He was another car that kept spinning out, wrecking and wrecking and wrecking. Not interested after what I saw in practice.
I mean, he's a good dirt track driver, and he was actually supposed to drive in the Bristol one, and there was like a sponsorship issue, and he was actually supposed to run Eldora last year, but then they had like the COVID break. So he was supposed to come up to out of like dirt racing into like the NASCAR series a little bit sooner, but he had some personal issues. So, and if you Google him, you'll find out that he took some time to find himself and came out as the first openly gay driver in the series. So that's you might have heard that backstory. This doesn't matter in racing at all, but I think he was kind of focusing on that and telling his story than his racing career. He actually did an internship at DuPont. Like he was inspired growing up by Jeff Gordon, and you know he's
cool.
And you know he like from a young age, and like I think he started 13. He started dirt track racing, so the guy's got a lot of experience on dirt. So not in a truck, obviously. So that's why he kept on spinning out. But
I was gonna say, I think that's probably what happened in practice was he's just getting used to the truck. Unfortunately, he caused a little bit of damage, but good for him. I'm rooting for him, and I hope people are accepting into his choices. As it's really hard to come out, especially in a circle like NASCAR.
Yeah, and let's hope that's not the story. I mean.
Yeah.
Bringing awareness is the one thing, but let's treat them as we treat all the other drivers, or like Haley Deegan. I'm sure that she hates I like the advancement of like a woman in the sport, but at the end of the day, I think she wants to be considered as like a good driver and not like the best woman driver in the sport.
And that's like definitely the career she's headed down. Is you could just see her focus. It's a little different than I would say Danica's. Danica was, I don't know, she was more polarizing in the fact that she was, a good looking woman and that she would use that to her advantage, as with those GoDaddy ads and everything. I don't know. Haley Deegan seems a little different with how she wants to be a champion. It just feels different when you see her mentality towards the sport. But good luck to Devin. Good luck to Haley. Wishing them all the best tomorrow.
Jessica.
Good transition. Jessica Friesen, 6,200. I think we both like this play. Obviously, we're going to need some place differential, but I think she's going to be someone we can rely on as a good driver.
Yeah, definitely. And she looked really, really good in the practices, even in the muddy mess. in Bristol. Not so good here, but then again, it might just be like trying to get the truck dial in, maybe just trying to be careful.
Yeah, I
knowing
was
what
gonna
she can
say
do.
that.
Maybe she's just holding her cards a little tighter here.
Yeah, probably trying to save the truck for the heats. I think getting into this race means a lot to her. I mean, as long as they race 40, she's in. I don't know if they cut 4. I should have looked that up prior to the video, but I know Jessica Friesen wants to be in this race, wants to compete in this badly after missing out on Bristol. So, I think she could be a good source of value given our starting
I
position
think
tomorrow.
NASCAR had no choice because they were locked into their system in Bristol, but I think they'll figure it out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Norm Benning,
No,
Michael Annett.
never. Michael Annett's interesting. Like, he's a great Xfinity driver, and he's
Yeah,
really expensive here, but he didn't really look great in practice.
I was shocked
He,
to see him here, to be
he's
honest.
run Eldora a couple times. He had like a 25 average running position there. So he's not like a great dirt track driver. He's a little bit above average Xfinity driver. Wouldn't you say? He's not like in the superstar echelon, but maybe
No,
he won
he's
a race
good.
this year, but
I
he's
mean,
good.
he races for Junior Motorsports.
Yeah.
He's no slouch. It's just I'm shocked to see him here in a terrible truck, and then I'm also shocked to see he's 9,500.
Yeah.
He's not even that high in Xfinity. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to play him at that price. I don't play him at that price in Xfinity. So what am I? Why am I going to play him in a worse truck and on dirt for all that? So I don't know. I totally wrote him off when I
It's
saw
like a
it.
corn dog, man. You know you don't want to eat it, but you see it and you're just like, that looks disgusting, but I kind of want to try it.
Well, there's a hot dog on the inside, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not interested in that. Jenny Jo Cobb, she spun out.
She's not even going to qualify. There's no way she can't. She's not even fast enough. And even with points, like, she's finished dead last. Like, just if being in races gets you enough owner points to qualify, then maybe, but no way. And then
this looks like a start and park.
Yeah, and Gordon didn't even run. He had a 30th average running position in Bristol.
Yeah, it looks like a start and park too.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a CMI truck, so.
Yeah. I'm out. So on them too. But that will wrap things up, Mega. Do you have anything else to add real quick?
No, just pay attention to qualifying, and like I said, that's why we have the Discord and everything, and we're willing, if you want to leave a comment in the video or reach out to us on Twitter and answer a couple questions. We try to have to designate our time to getting the book up and like our cores and stuff and answering our subs questions, but we don't mind
Right.
questions from the general public, if it's a 1v1 or something like that. So
Yeah.
reach out to us. We're here to help. That's why we're up late tonight doing this video on information
exactly,
we don't
Mega.
even have.
Yeah, exactly, Mega. Well put. And for all that work and support, please like this video, comment below. It does help us provide the content that we love to give to you. So that goes a long way in our appreciation. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, if you want to find us in the Discord, you can find that at FSI_DFS. At FSI_DFS. That link is in the bio. Sorry, I'm rusty. On my way back from vacation here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to be back, and looking forward to an interesting race. I'm probably going to watch this one pretty closely, as the practice was fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Go Stuart Friesen. I might toss some coin on him to win outright too.
And then we will definitely be covering Xfinity and Cup, which are going to be total chalk fest because they go in the running order of the road races, and some really good drivers did really bad, so they're really going to start far back and be excellent plays, and just DraftKings probably didn't price them up clearly enough, so that should be fun and interesting. But
this is going to be such a profitable weekend. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Let's get off to the right track tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you tomorrow for Xfinity.
Take care.